Okay. I came in a little bit early just to make sure my camera's good, and I think it's going to be just fine. And I might not go off my head anymore. Look at that. Who knew? All right. Is it crooked though? It's crooked. Phoebe, I'm getting my tootsies. Yeah. But now I'm cutting stuff off. Okay. So y'all might just have to be crooked over there on YouTube. Oops. Oh, man. No. Less crooked. I'm about to cut my head off over there too. All right. Facebook looks just fine. Changed where my camera was, so that's the fuzzy thing. Stand there, babe. You see up there? All right. So maybe we've got another minute or so. I'll hang out quick. Hello, YouTube. Can't see you, but you know. All right. So I'm going to open up the front of the body a little bit today. It might get sunny, but I think it's going to be pretty gray and rainy all day, which, you know, for some of you guys, it's been ridiculously rainy, and others of you, it's been ridiculously dry. So we're happy for the rain, and I guess that's how you got to go with it, right? But to kind of counter that gray, I don't know, do you get tired when it's kind of gray and yucky out? We're going to make our own sunshine. We're going to make our own energy, right? So we can counter what's going on out there. Remember, you can modify everything or nothing. And just do what feels good. If something isn't right for you, definitely holler if you have questions and, you know, how can I modify this for this problem, right? Or I'm having this sensation and I don't know if that's okay. Feel free to reach out with those questions. And just do what's right for your body every day. And that's why being present is so important, because we wander through life only half paying attention to those things. And sometimes we don't even really know we've done something that we shouldn't have because we were too busy going. And then it's too late because we've already done it. And now we're injured or whatever. We don't feel great. So just really being mindful makes a big difference in your practice. So we are starting standing. And of course, we start at the foundation, right? So think about your feet. Bring them up underneath your hip bones. Make sure your toes point forward. Check in that you feel like you're on the four corners of your feet. And if you're not really sure yet, and every now and again, you still have to remind yourself, okay, even if you're sure at one point. But check out your shoes. And if you always wear one edge more than the other, right, then really focus on balancing that weight out on your feet. So pressing down into the four corners, feeling nice and even, and feel how that activated your legs a little. Tuck the tailbone under, lift the pelvic floor, pull the lower belly in and up, and then stand really tall through your sides. Try and relax your shoulders, wiggle them around a little bit if that helps, right? Hands hanging down by the sides of your body. Crown of the head extending toward the ceiling. So you may feel the bottom tips of your ears move back a little bit when you add that link. And then just take a moment to notice how you feel. And if this is extraordinarily different from how you normally stand, maybe try and incorporate a little bit more into your daily movement. And then staying aware of that, of course, but bringing your attention to your breath. Just kind of notice what's normally going on. And then start to gradually expand into that breath. So we want to keep the lower belly engaged, but let the upper belly rise and fall with the breath. Beginning to expand into each breath. And for a moment, just work the extremes. So let those inhales get as big as you can. And then exhale as completely as you can. Great big gigantic breaths. Take one more great big breath. Exhaling it all away. And then finding something in the middle. Not the normal breath that you just started with, but not this gigantic breath either. Something in between. And we're staying aware of the position of the body. We're staying aware of this lovely full breath. Exhale back down. And just let your arms reflect your breath. Let's do it again. And one more time. Come back to the top, inhale. Let's interlace our fingers here, rotating the palms toward the ceiling, stretching through the knuckles without reaching the shoulders. Exhale, tip right. Inhale, come center. And exhale, left. Inhaling back to the middle. So with the breath, side to side like that. As you tip, make sure you stay nice and stable through the lower body. Maybe dig in there a little bit deeper. Stretch as you're ready. Let's go. Well, we're kind of in the middle of one, aren't we? So one more time, right and left. When you're back to center, just releasing. Standing tall. Let your shoulders roll a little bit. Hands to the thighs here. You can lean if you need to lean, of course. Exhale, we're going to come over and try half full. Little bend into the knees and then roll back up. So on the way down, exhale with a flat back. And then really round it on the way back up. Take a few more flows like that. We're going to come over to that half fold and hold this time. Bending into the knees, rest the forearms on the thighs. Lean if you have to lean. And then take that left arm and sweep it up toward the ceiling. And let yourself lean, right? So that right knee will pop forward, your lean over to the left, drop to the right a little bit, your hips might shift left. You get it. Really step back to center, do the second side. And then back to the middle again. Take the legs straight. Lean with the hands on the thighs if you need to. Keep the shoulders back, belly in. And then slowly exhale, tip yourself a little bit deeper into that stretch. Inhaling, come into the halfway place. And then exhale a little bit deeper yet. Right, so really just moving into that forward fold really slowly. Take just a couple more breaths getting down in there. And then just holding where you found your full fold. You can wiggle around into it a little bit, of course, right? Remember the shoulders stay back. So if touching the floor around your back, forget it. From here, taking the hands to the floor, let's go ahead and make our way to a down dog. However you feel like getting there this morning. Check in that your feet are still hip bone distance apart. Think about the four corners of your hands like we talked about, the four corners of the feet. You may be able to get the four corners of the feet down here, but don't worry about that piece. Think about the hands as your foundation. Wiggling and stretching into it. Letting the head and neck just kind of hang between the arms. Get that nice release in your neck. And then settling into it. So dropping the heels as far as they'll go. If that's not the floor, it's not the floor. Right? Get a nice stretch there. Pressing away from the hands. Pressing the chest back to the thighs. And then let's go ahead and lift that right leg. Straight back, push through your heels, feel that extra nice stretch in your calf maybe. Open up the right hip, pointing your toes high, maybe bending the knee if you like. Watch that this right shoulder doesn't lift. Keep it level. And then let's release that side. And we'll switch. Lift the left. Keep the hips square for a second. And then open the hip and bend the knee. Shoulders level, hands are happy. Right heel still reaching for the floor. And then release that side. So we're going to lift the right leg again. And this time step the foot through the hands, coming into a lunge. Go ahead and drop the back knee. Wiggle your toes forward so that the knee is over the ankle, not forward of it. And then just wiggle around into your hips a little bit. Find a center. You can have the back toes tucked under or the foot flat to the floor, either one. Pulling your legs toward each other. Let's bring the right hand to the hip and add in a little twist. So think belly to the inner thigh. Maybe stacking the right shoulder on top of the left. And then release it. Let's take the right leg straight. So adding in as much stretch as you need here. Maybe the leg doesn't even quite go straight. Maybe you have to prop up. Find where the stretch is for you. You can flex your foot back if you need a little more. And then bend the knee again. Sink a little lower. Still keeping nice and stable, though we don't want to be leaning to one side or the other. This time we're going to climb up on the thigh. See if you can continue to sink into your hips, even as the upper body lifts. Sometimes it backs us up a little bit. See what you can do with that. Hands can stay on the leg, and you can just kind of press the upper body away. Or you can take your fingers, maybe interlacing behind the back, shoulder blades pull toward each other, knuckles stretch away. You can extend your arms up toward the ceiling if you like. Take another big breath. And then gently release what you got. We're going to take that right leg straight again. So you're going to be finding a deeper stretch here. Shoulders back. Bending back into the knee. We're going to lift the left knee and step back to down dog. Moving to the second side, go ahead and lift the left leg. And then step or swing that foot through to the hands. Coming to our lunge over here. Right knee to the mat. Wiggle the toes until you get that knee ankle alignment. Shift into the hips a little bit here. And then finding that center. So imagine sweeping the legs toward each other. Left hand comes to the hip and we twist. Releasing the twist. Left leg straight. Ish. Remember to breathe. Find the stretch regardless of what it looks like. Bending back into the knee. Keeping the hips low, staying squared with the lower body as you climb up. Lifting the chest again, either pressing away with the hands, interlacing the fingers behind the back, maybe opening the arms in a cactus or extending alongside the ears. Just find where it needs to be over here. If you are looking up, keep the chin tucked toward the throat rather than just letting your head drop back. And then gently release that. Bringing left leg straight again. Finding your deeper stretch this time, maybe. And then bending back into the knee. Lift the right knee and back down off. So let's walk the feet to the hands, come to a standing fold. Got pretty good into those hamstrings, so bend the knees if you need to. Index and middle fingers are going to wrap around the big toes. Stay nice and even on the four corners of the feet. Maybe legs straight, not knees locked. Elbows out to the sides. You can pull against the toes. Imagine pulling your belly to your thighs. Release the toes, fingers interlace behind the lower back. Shoulders pull toward each other, knuckles stretch away. Releasing the arms. Slide the hands to the thighs again, that halfway point-ish. And then this time, go ahead and bend into your knees into a chair. So we're even on the four corners of the feet, the tailbone's tucked, supporting on the thighs if you need to, of course. Otherwise, maybe hands center or arms extend. Take nice big breaths. the inhale, stretch it to the ceiling. And exhale the arms. All right. So here, you can absolutely support with your hands on your lower back. You can take your fingers and then release them behind the back like we've already done. We can extend the arms up or into this cactus. You decide where the arms go, and you can start in one place and switch, of course, right? Think about your feet. Bring them right back underneath where we started. A little tuck of the tailbone. Make sure the lower back stays long and happy. And then you decide again where your fingers are going. We pull the shoulder blades together on the back, regardless of where the arms are. And then imagine lifting your chest up to the ceiling. So really, again, opening the front of the body. Chin stays tucked. Try not to feel like you're leaning the hips forward. Stay nice and centered with the lower body. You're breathing. With the next inhale, we're making our way back up. Releasing the arms. Maybe rolling around into the shoulders a little bit. And then the hands on the thighs here. Gently over into your half fold again. So nice and easy. Take your time. If you want to bend in the knees, you can bend in the knees, of course. Just a nice and easy little counter pose. All the way over into whatever your full fold is. And here we're going to bring the feet together. So bring them as close in as you can. Hug your legs together, even if they don't touch. Right? Squeeze into the middle. And then we're going to bend into the knees and come into that chair position again. Only we're going to change this one up a little bit. Right? So you can keep it super simple. Bringing the left hand over to the right knee, maybe right hand to the hip, and opening up into this twist. Pulling against the knee, so the knee stay in the center, right? Or that left elbow can come to the outside of the knee, but the same idea. We use the elbow against the knee, knee stay in the center. Palms can touch. We're going to take just a couple more breaths here. And then gently release the twist. Take the legs straight. Give yourself a little second in the middle here. And then let's switch, right? So find yourself back into this chair, hugging the legs in, tailbones tucked, belly's working, and you decide whether you go with the right hand on the hip and the left hand, right hand on the knee and the left hand on the hip, or right elbow, pressing against it to open up into the twist. Make sure you can breathe, feel even in your feet. And then let's release that side back to the fold. Opening the feet back out into our hip bone distance again. This time here, bend in the knees and roll up through the spine. Back to standing. All right. And we're going to work with our sun salutes a little bit different today. I'm going to use some other things in. We're going to start off the same though. So just like normal. So 4 corners of the feet on the floor. Inhale, stretch the arms up. And exhale over into a fold. Coming halfway up, hands to thighs or shins or whatever you need. Exhale yourself back to a plank. Take the knees if you'd like, of course, all the way down to the belly, and then just a little shoulder shrug. Tiny little baby back bend. Exhale, release it, move back to down dog. And inhale, step forward into fold. Come halfway up with the next inhale. Exhale back over again. All the way to the ceiling this time. And exhale, release. So another just like that. Inhaling up. Exhaling, fold. Coming halfway up. Back to plank. And all the way down that same exhalation if you can. Elbows tight to the sides. Roll into the shoulders, pull with the hands, lengthen your spine. And then release it back to down dog again. Inhaling, step forward into fold. Halfway up. And back over. All the way up. And release. So you know the drill. This time we do that exact idea, only I shut my mouth and you do your thing, right? So follow your breath. Modify what you need. If you need an extra breath in or out, take it. I think this is you. So this is the only cue you get. Inhale, reach up. And go. So moving on, adding it or not, modify or not. This time here we sit into our chair, inhaling, and then exhale over into the fold. Inhale halfway up. Exhale back to plank. Dropping down. Cobra. And down dog. With the inhale, right foot forward lunge. Toes all the way up. Heeler knees to the mat, and we reach up. Exhale back down. Down dog. Inhaling forward for plank. Exhaling down into the belly. Into cobra. Back to down dog. Left foot's turn, stepping forward. Knee ankle alignment and lifting up on the inhale. Come back down on the exhale. Inhaling forward for plank. Down to the belly. Cobra. And down dog. Keeping the elbows in on the way down and back up. Holding down dog. Drop into child's pose if you need a little extra break. Nice easy breaths here. If you did drop down, lift back to down dog. And on an inhale, step forward into the fold. Halfway up. And back over. Into chair. And exhale, release. So that's the idea. We're going to add on to that a little bit. But again, maybe skip the vinyasa in the middle. Hold the pose longer or shorter if you'd like. Right? So here we go. Inhale, sit into chair. Exhale to your fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, back to plank. Drop it down. Cobra. And back to down dog. Right foot forward into lunge. Heeler knee to the mat, lifting up through that warrior one. Hold. And now open the arms. Right arm reaching forward, left arm reaching back, warrior two. You may need to change where your feet are exactly. Rotate it back into that warrior one. So the hips face forward more, arms reaching to the ceiling. Exhale, take yourself back to lunge and into down dog. On an inhale, slide forward for plank. Exhale to the belly. Cobra. Down dog. Left foot stepping forward. Toes all the way up there. Heel or knees to the mat back there. Coming into that warrior one variation. And then opening the arms for warrior two. Left arm forward, right arm back. Again, the feet may need to change. You might not be precisely in the perfect position from one to the other. And it's okay to adjust. And inhale back to your warrior one. Exhale over into the lunge and into down dog. Inhaling forward for our plank. Exhale it down. Into cobra. Back to down dog. Hold down dog or drop into child's pose. Lifting back to down dog if you just drop down. And then on the next inhale, stepping forward into fold. Halfway up. Folding over. Into chair. And exhale, release. So we're going to do one more. That same idea. Adding on, not modifying. So here we go. Into chair. Over into the fold. Halfway up. Back to plank. All the way down. Cobra. Down dog. Right foot's going to step forward. Lifting up into our warrior one. Exhaling as you open the arms for warrior two. Adjusting your feet if you need. And then let's move to triangle. So right leg straight, reach forward over the right toes and hinge. Support on the leg if you need, not on your knee, not on the leg. On an inhale, into warrior two. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale into lunge and down dog again. Slide it forward for plank. Exhale to the belly. Into cobra. Back to down dog. Left foot forward, inhale. Dropping the back heel, lifting into our warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhaling the left leg straight, stretching forward. Exhale, hinge into triangle. Inhaling, bend back into the knee, warrior two. Warrior one. Lunging into down dog. Last time, slide forward for plank. Exhale to the belly. Cobra. And down dog. Holding here or child's pose.
Maybe drop down, lift back to down dog. Inhaling as we step forward into the fold. Next inhale, halfway up. Folding over. Into chair. And exhale to release at the top.
All right, so we're done with that. No more playing chaturanga. So let's go ahead and lift the arms up again. We are going to come over into our fold.
And then step it back to a down dog. From our down dog here, let's lift the right leg. Open the hip, bend the knee. Press the chest back, level the shoulders. And then take the legs straight, square the hips, step that right foot through to lunge again.
So, knee and ankle stacked. But this time here, roll over your left toes and then take that knee to the floor. So this right knee is going to come forward, which you wouldn't want to put a whole bunch of pressure on, so you wouldn't want to stand like that necessarily, right? But we want to keep the hips square, so imagine pulling your legs toward each other. If you need to support with your hands on the floor, feel free, or blocks maybe even, while coming up on the thigh. So just like before, the hips want to back up. See if you can keep them sinking. So a little bit more intense through the left hip flexor for sure. Pressing against the right leg to lift the chest toward the ceiling. And again, you want to create space, not just slam back, right? Let the opening occur. The arms again are wherever you'd like them and release behind your back. Open into cactus, reaching alongside your ears. Just keep the chest open and the hips sinking through your chin tucked to the throat. One more breath. Gently releasing what you got. Roll back over the toes and into down dog.
Moving to our second side, lift the left leg. Open the hip, bend the knee. Take the legs straight, square the hips, step through to lunge. Roll over the toes to bring that right knee to the floor. Sink into the hips. Try and keep this left heel down. Sometimes that's a little challenging. Sinking into the hips as you lift the upper body. Keep lifting the chest. Spine nice and long, arms where you need the arms. And then gently back to your lunge. Roll over your toes and into down dog. Give yourself a wiggle or whatever you need here. And then we're going to drop on down into child's pose. So let's come up onto all fours. And we're going to, hands are underneath the shoulder, so they're shoulder width apart. And we're going to bring the feet just to the outsides of the hands. Okay? So the knees may need to stay ridiculously bent. That is totally fine. You may need them a little straighter. Figure out where your body needs to be. And we're going to start to bend into the knees. I like to have my toes out so my heels will stay on the floor. Your feet may need to be wider. You may not be able to bend all super deep. The idea is to bring the triceps into contact with the inner leg, inner thigh here, shin, knee-ish, right? Palms come together. Drag your chest forward toward your thumbs. So again, you may not be able to get all the way down there. You can absolutely pop a block underneath your bottom. Right? And if you feel like you're gonna lean over on your butt, keep pulling the chest forward. Hug the legs into the arms back, or push back into the legs. We're gonna take just a couple more breaths. And then if you're really far away from the floor, obviously just come to a seat. But if your bottom is pretty close to the floor, just rock back. Coming to seated. So however we get there. Again, no one's watching, right? Legs are extended out nice and long. We want to make sure that we are even on the pelvis. Belly's in, shoulders are down and back. We sit tall. Reach the arms. Let's hinge forward. And the hands fall where they do. So maybe that's your toes, your shins, the floor, your thighs, whatever. Keep the chest open, reaching the chest toward the toes. On an inhale, we're going to come back up again and release it. So let's bring the right foot flat to the floor. And you can pull this heel in as close to the glute as it'll go. Right? You can definitely leave the foot on the inside of the leg, but see if you can bring it to the outside and the foot is flat. So it's fine if it's down by your ankle. Right? Doesn't matter. As long as your pelvis is level and this right foot is flat on the floor. Right? Sit up really tall. If that's all good, see if you can bend your left knee and bring your heel in front of your right sit bone. That foot's flat, we're even on the pelvis, the spine is tall, and this foot is tucked. You don't want to sit on it. Right? So the pelvis is still level, right? Sit really tall. And this is nice because you can kind of pull against the right leg to help you sit up tall. Maybe take the left arm and wrap it around the right leg. Right hand behind your back. Pulling against the right leg, pressing into the floor behind. Again, tons of space through the spine, and the pelvis is level, yes? Gently release, twist, unhook your legs. Maybe bounce them out a little bit. And we'll switch sides. So bringing the left foot in, again, foot flat, whether it's on the inside or the outside. The pelvis is level, we're sitting nice and tall. Maybe the right leg stays straight. And if you have your foot down by your ankle, then bending the knee is weird, right? It'll take away. But if you can, right heel coming in toward the left sit bone. So we sit tall, wrap the right arm, support with the left. Take just a couple more breaths around this side. Gently releasing back to center, unhooking the leg. Balance a little. And then bring the feet flat to the floor. Make sure you have some place to go behind you. You'll be moving that direction. So, I don't know where I was going with that. So 4 corners of the feet on the floor, roughly a 90-degree bend in your knees, roughly hanging onto the thighs, lifting your chest here. Right? So you may feel a ton of work already. You can hang on here a lot or just support with the hands on the thigh, right? So find wherever it is you need to be. The feet can totally stay on the floor for this. Maybe just lift them up off the floor. You can take the shins parallel to the floor, but probably not want to go any higher because we're adding on. Right? So you determine where your feet need to be. Extend the arms out like you're holding a great big beach ball. Okay. Try and keep your lower body doing what it's doing. Keep the beach ball the same size. It's imaginary, but it's not, magic. Take the hands over to the left and bring it back to center. Take that beach ball over to the right. And then back to center. Once more on each side. Belly's working like crazy. Feet are where you need them to be. When you're back to center, hang on. Bring the soles of your feet together and find your ankles. Balancing here, even if you had your feet on the floor before. And then instead of lifting the chest, go ahead and C-curve the spine and roll one. Keep the soles of the feet together. Let them come to the floor. And just rest. Rest your belly, your inner hips here. Well, you might feel it in other places in your hips as well. Let's bring the knees back together. And then draw them into your chest. Rocking here. And then taking the feet to the floor. Let's cross the left ankle over the right knee. Reach back behind the right thigh. Drawing that leg in, pressing the left leg away with your elbow here. Trying to keep your shoulders down on the floor and the tailbone pointing toward the floor. So your bottom isn't rounding up too much. Any more than it needs to be. How's that? So keep the arms pulling in, push the leg back into the hands, push and pull. Gently release. And we're going to switch sides. So then that right foot, crossing over the left knee. Reaching back behind the left thigh. Drawing the leg in, focus on your backside. So the shoulders are neutral. Tailbone is pointing down, not up. And the lower back might be lifted, might not be off the floor, but it's not pressing down into the floor. Feel the difference there? We keep the arms pulling in, push the leg back into the hands. And then release it. So both feet flat to the floor. Tucked in toward the hips, but not quite touching the glutes there. Arms nice and tight down the sides of the body. We want to press down into the triceps. Keep the back of the neck up off the floor. Pull the heels toward the hips, gently lifting the hips away from the mat. And you can take your bridge as high as you'd like, right? So you can definitely prop up. Keep your tailbone pointing toward the knees so your lower back stays happy. You can interlace your fingers. Support with your forearms underneath your hips there. Play with where the body wants to be today. We're going to take one more breath wherever that is. And then gently release what you got. Hold with your hips on the floor, with your feet on the floor. And then nice and easy again here, knees into the chest and rock. So final twist, you can take any variation you like here. The arms are open out into a T position. If you want to cross the legs first, knees apart, knees close together, just drop the knees over to the side, shift your hips first, whatever you feel like. Let the knees fall to the right. And if you want to leave the legs straight, leave the knees bent or take the legs straight, it's always up to you. Just kind of play around and see what feels good today. We've done lots of stretches, and lots of twists, I should say. So there may be one position that's more appealing than another. And take just a couple more breaths over on this side. And then making your way back to center. And whatever you did over on the first side, take the same idea to the second side. And now you may make different adjustments over here. We just kind of want to work towards symmetry, even though the body isn't perfectly symmetrical. Take the time. What little additions do you need over here? One more breath over on this side. And then making your way back to center again. Once more, draw the knees into the chest and give yourself that nice little rock. Bringing in for a good squeeze. Knees to the chest, forehead to the knees-ish. Releasing, full body stretch. And then releasing that stretch, making your way to whatever Shavasana is going to look like today. So find a comfortable spot, check in that you feel aligned, and then let go. Release the muscles. And release control of your breath. And most importantly, and maybe most difficult, release any random thought that wanders in. Keep the mind present, quiet, and relaxed. Begin to draw each breath a little deeper than the last. Gradually wiggle fingers and toes, moving and stretching throughout the body. Keeping your eyes quiet, eyes closed and mind quiet. Slowly make your way up to seated. Sitting well. Bringing the palms to touch. Eyes of light within. Namaste. I thought we would conjured some sun, but maybe not. So regardless of what it looks like out your window, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you feel better than we did when we started. Don't forget the 5-day, 15-minute challenge starts Monday, so two days from now. Right? If you haven't signed up or hollered at me, certainly do, so I can get you in on the group or the email list. So yeah, that's it, I think. All right, we will see you next weekend and have a great week. Bye.